It's NFL draft week. Hell, for 24 hours till draft day. It's time to really dive deep into the NFL draft. Dive deep into what we expect from Howie Roseman, what we're hopeful for our Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk all things NFL draft, Eagles, whatever, and league wide. Do some mock drafts, talk some other odds and ends. Phillies losing streak ends. Are we over the Sixers yet? We're going to talk it all. Train the AM, taking your thoughts and opinions live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. And I got to get that right. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you're watching. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow buttons out. Make sure you spread the word. Tap a shoulder in front of you at Wawa. Tell everybody. Trending in the AM, the number one sports morning show in Philadelphia, and the only show where your opinions actually matter. Your opinions actually drive the show. So hit those like buttons and share buttons if you greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, as always, at Beard and Knowledge. Yes, happy NFL Draft Eve. Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow's the day that teams in the NFL start to reshape their future, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. But, let's just hope it's a good way for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, Davey. Traded. I don't know if traded is the accurate word. Maybe free agent signing. How about we call it that? But what is up? EOP have the best intros. Yeah, my guys there. They do great work with those intros and those videos. Man, there's also a lot of great shows on the channel, Davey. New studio. This is where I've wanted to be since we moved in. Not the bar, K1. I've actually got a comfy ass chair to sit in here. Not one of those uncomfortable bar stools that I was. Little G in the house. Good morning. Big Eagles fan as always. Eagles new edge linebacker draft. Georgia and Alabama, Texas and Oklahoma. We're going to get all into the draft. Lots of rumors floating around. Lots of things happening. Will they trade up for a cornerback? Will they not? Will they stay pat? Will they trade back? Still got a few fans pining like me for Patrick Surtain. So we got lots of things that could happen, lots of things that could go on. Looks like the office in Patty's Pub. It looks like an office, and it does look like a little bit of it's got really old school paneling. Maybe I'll paint that. I'm going to hang these pictures up behind me. It's still a work in progress, Davey, the studio. When you move after living somewhere for as long as we did, and you move into a new house, it takes a little while to unpack. It takes a little while to get things settled in. Last night, after Fairway to Heaven, after setting this new spot up a little bit, dude, I sat on the couch, watched some Yellowstone, and crashed, basically. Thank God the Phillies were getting crushed last night because I did not have to put any energy into watching that last night. I appreciate it. Open your eyes. I'm right here. Yes, I'm right here. South Coatesville. Here, bringing you the best morning show in Philadelphia. As always, you need the Billy Bass on the wall. Take me to the river. My head turns and cocks really quick. It was a great episode of The Sopranos with the Billy the Bass singing on the wall. Yeah. Paulie getting all excited about it. Okay, I'm choosing you over WGR 550 Buffalo, switching over for sports because WGR 550 Buffalo doesn't care about the people. Not at all. Not at all do they care about the people at all. That shit is fire drip. Thanks. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, guys, NFL Draft Eve tomorrow, round one of the NFL Draft. Lots of things happening. Eagles news in general. I mean, Isaiah Rodgers was finally officially reinstated. And I know the biggest conversation with the NFL Draft right now is for the Eagles. I mean, is cornerback. Seems like everyone thinks that the Eagles should and will go cornerback. Rumors that they want to trade up with Denver to get Mitchell. Rumors that they want to trade up to get Arnold. Stay pat, get Koopa, Dijon, and some of these other names that are available. But Isaiah Rodgers has been reinstated. And I started thinking yesterday at work about the cornerback room as it is. And will Howie really invest a top tier pick and not just 22, trading up from 22, which means trading future picks for a cornerback? And I just don't know if Howie will do it. And I'm going to go off on a little tangent, read a thing, then we'll get back to the comments in a minute or two. You got big play, Darius Slay. You got James Bradbury. You got Ringo and Ricks, who you invested time and investment in last year. You got Zach McPherson coming back from injury, invested a third or fourth round pick. You have brought back Avonte Maddox, and now you got young 23-year-old Isaiah Rodgers in the fold. There are 7 cornerbacks on this roster right now. Not 7 very good ones, but 7 average and some with very major potential. So I want to use today's show to start off to try to help Eagles Nation not be disappointed when cornerback isn't. When Roger Goodell goes to the podium and says the Philadelphia Eagles with pick number wherever they chooses blank, and it's not going to be a cornerback. It's going to be an edge rusher or it's going to be an offensive lineman, maybe defensive tackle. To me, the power rankings on what Howie will do, not what I want. It's going to be offensive tackle 1, edge rusher 2, defensive tackle 3. Cornerback will be 4 right now on this list. It's very unrealistic that Patrick Surtain would get traded to the Eagles. It really is. But I think that has a higher likelihood of happening versus him taking a first-round cornerback. And I'm going to share my screen to something different today. We're going to do some mock drafts as well today, possibly, depending on how the conversation goes. Let me find this tab real quick here that I wanted to put up here. This is something I saw on Twitter this morning, and it's from my man Adam Schefter sharing it out. It was put together by Hembo, content producer on ESPN. This is from 2000 to 2019, 20 NFL drafts. And he's calling it the hit rate. If you drafted a guy in the first round, what were the odds that you gave that person a second contract? And if to miss if you don't give him a second contract. And you look at cornerback is the 3rd most drafted first round position. 71. Obviously, edge rusher number 1, wide receiver number 2, then cornerback. But it has a 38% hit rate in the first round. And to me, like, I've been sitting here thinking that outside of a trade for Patrick Surtain, I don't think the Eagles will draft a cornerback. Then when I see this, how he knows that this stat is out there. So maybe he's got that one guy, the next Patrick Surtain in mind. Maybe it's Arnold, maybe it's Mitchell. But if it's not those guys, the hit rate chance on Kool-Aid or Dijon or some of these other secondary first-round cornerbacks, the chance of them working out was very slim. Now, we're going to pull this off the screen for a minute. We're going to come back to that a few times. That's right. Rodgers is the man. Isaiah Rodgers can also return kicks, and it's a big return for him getting that because with the new kickoff rules in place, you are going to need a kick return, and he could slot in and do that. What's up, Peanut? The morning goes by quicker when I'm playing trending in the AM. You can play it in the background. You don't even have to be in front of a computer. Plug and play. There's so many rumors about our pick right now. I'm hearing we're trading up to 12. I don't like it. going to cost us a second and a fifth. I don't love it either for a cornerback. I just don't. I don't think that our cornerbacks look. I think somebody at Edge of Philly put out a post about it, and so did I yesterday. I don't think our cornerback room is as bad as people think. Yet James Bradbury was complete dog trash last year. We all know that. We're all going to agree to that. But James Bradbury was also pretty damn elite in 2022. Maybe there's a little middle ground between 22 and 23. Improve the scheme, improve the coaching, have a real defensive coordinator in there. Improve the talent, bringing back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. All those things. You got to expect some positive regression from our cornerbacks. Plus, Ringo Ricks 1 year better. McPherson may be healthy. There is a lot more potential in the cornerback room than people realize, in my opinion. And I know it's not a popular opinion, but it is, in my opinion. We are brought to you here by SherryTickets.com. Make sure you check them out, SherryTickets.com. Easy to use, has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more, SherryTickets.com. Saving more by using their exclusive promo code EOP10 and share the experience that will live on. When you use EOP10, it saves you 10% along with the no hidden fees that they have. Need a more personal touch? Give them a call, 610-494-5050, SherryTickets.com. They also have theater tickets, concert tickets, anything that you can't get your hands on. You want to get into an event, go to SherryTickets.com. Remember, don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best, SherryTickets.com. Promo code EOP10. Right back to the comments here. Thing is, when I do that, then it puts me at the bottom there. All I know is the more quarterbacks that go high, the better for us. K1, exactly. I mean, I'm hoping that 5 or 6 quarterbacks go in the top 20. I know these quarterbacks are going to be failures, most of them, but I want them all to get drafted. Gives us a better chance. We don't have to trade up if Bo Nix and Penix go before us. I agree. And I think there's a scenario in my head where maybe they do go before us. Or we trade back for a team that wants to move up to 22 to get one of those guys. I'd rather take Bo Nix, not Eagles-wise. I'd rather be a team trade up to 22 and take Bo Nix or Michael Penix than going up to 1 or 2 or 3 and taking Jaden Daniels or I don't even know all their names. Drake May. Like, those guys have so much bust written all over them, in my opinion. Latu or offensive line? I would take Latu if he fell to 22. I don't know. I know he's got some injury concerns, Davey. I would not trade up to get him, but I would be okay with him at 22. It's going to be edge or offensive line. And don't be surprised if it's center. I've seen the big board. Jackson Powers Johnson, the top center, keeps falling. Maybe they trade back and draft him at, say, 27 or 28. It could happen. What's up, Matty B? It's going to be quarterback Spencer Ratter at 22 for the Birds. You got to keep the quarterback factory fed. You really do. 20 years is too big a time window. I think it's a perfect window. A 20-year window. Quarterbacks have a hit rate of 46% in the first round. And again, the hit rate means giving them a second contract. The top is center, but there's only been 12 centers taken in the first round in the last 20 years, which is an argument to be made not to draft Jackson Powers. But 92% of the time, 11 out of 12, they've gotten a second deal. Offensive tackle, guard, next. Surprisingly, linebacker has the 4th highest hit rate in the NFL draft. That to me is a little shocking, to be honest with you. But 20 years is perfect. Defensive tackle hit rate is 40%, and we've gone defensive tackle back to back. That's interesting. It really is. See, I love these kind of stats. I do. And I didn't even. I was thinking more about what we were going to do this year. I wasn't thinking of the last 2 years, Davey. And you're spot on. 40% hit rate, and we've taken 2 in a row. I can't believe when you were off, they signed Smith for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, I mean, you were the one saying he was going to leave all the time. UFL saying that Devonta Smith was gone. Told you he would get locked up long term without a problem. It's a huge sample size. You get a top 3 edge and a tight end, and you're going back to the bowl, maybe a nice day 3 running back. we'll see about the tight end conversation. But I want to go over the Eagles depth chart in a little bit. Don't start this Bradbury Renaissance chat, I beg you. Hey, look, I'm going to do it. Because, again, I don't think James Bradbury is ever going to return to 2022 form. Jesus. He's not. I think that was a combination of things, all the sacks that the defensive line was getting, etc. But he might not be as bad as he was last year. You gain more by keeping him on the roster, seeing if he's capable, and then if he's not, and 2023 is just who he is, then you bench or cut him. You don't gain anything. You cut him post June 1st, you save a couple $1 million. You don't get anything. In my opinion, there's a bigger reward for the risk of keeping James Bradbury than the risk of cutting him and not properly filling that spot. You just give it a shot. You tell him he's got to come in and battle Ricks, Ringo, McPherson for that starting job. Maybe that works. That's just the theory I'm going. You will want a day 2 cornerback. I'd be better off with that than a first rounder. Thank you. A new defensive coordinator means maybe these younger guys get a shot at starting. Ringo, Smith, Brown. Well, Sidney Brown, we got to wait till he's back. I'm not sure how long Sidney Brown is going to miss, but he's going to miss time. Yeah, we are. As soon as Son Reddick left to the Jets, Nolan Smith 100% is going to get a lot more snaps, without a doubt, in my opinion. And yes, Ringo, Ricks, they're going to get more opportunities. Thank you. But where is David? We'll get to him. We'll save the best for last, right? Offensive tackle is gold. Yeah, you can't go wrong drafting an offensive tackle in the first round. You just can't. Quarterback, offensive tackle, wide receiver, man. The wide receiver hit rate is not that good. It's the lowest in the league. Second most drafted position in the first round. And over a 20-year sample size, wide receiver has the lowest hit rate out there, 27%. I don't know why anybody would draft a first-round wide receiver when seeing this. This episode was filmed before a live studio audience is now. A word from our sponsors. Oh, you want me to? Are you queuing me up to call out a sponsor? All right, we'll give y'all guys one. I gotta get the comment off the screen there for a second before I read it. That Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work, in a motor vehicle accident, or by your Philadelphia 76ers, make sure you call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Law Firm. They're here to fight for your rights and what you deserve. Cherry Injury Law, dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured through the state of Pennsylvania. Been seriously injured in the state of Pennsylvania by negligence of another. And if you have questions for a Westchester or media personal injury attorney, don't hesitate to call 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, 610-565-0300 or cherryinjurylaw.com. All right back to the comments right there. Thanks for the cue up there, Peanut. Edge class is terrible. I think there's a lot of really good talent for the middle to late first round at edge this year. I'm not going up and, this is not like that Hutchinson class where you had 2 or 3 guys going early on. No. This is a class where 15 to 30, you're going to see 5, 6, 7 edge rushers go. You got Verse. You got a lot of them. The Alabama outside linebacker, remind me his name. I don't know which he is off the top. Verse would be a big upgrade. Sure. I've seen him in mock drafts many a times fall to the Eagles at 22. And I'm perfectly fine if that's what happens. Perfectly fine with it. Not that many linebackers, but they don't cost too much except top guys who just re-sign. They know system. Maybe that has something to do with it too. What these guys signed for second contract-wise versus whatnot. But you keep your guys if they're good. Bradbury don't love football, in my opinion. He's checked out. Yeah, Davey, I agree. And we talked on this show many times towards the end of the season how he was scared to tackle. Is scared the right word? Definitely scared to have any contact with any offensive player. And he might have given up. Maybe he did check out of the sport. You might be right on that. But maybe. Is it worth the risk of keeping James Bradbury and having him fight for Like, if you cut him June 1st or you cut him August 31st, you gain nothing different. Nothing different happens. So wouldn't it be smarter to keep him, see if he can make the roster, draft a day 2 cornerback instead of a day 1? Day 1, you draft Mitchell or Arnold, you trade up for one of those guys, then you have to cut James Bradbury because you need that starting out. You draft somebody in the top 15, they are starting day 1 on the outside. I think it's worth. Is it worth trading assets to move up to get one of those guys, or is it smarter stay where you're at and and let it play out, however it is, guys? Make sure you're hitting that like button on Facebook, YouTube. I don't know. Do you like things on Twitch or not? I'm not sure how Twitch works. Twitter, like, retweet, drop your comments, thoughts, what we think we should do. The cornerback room is something that's really, really intriguing to me. What is up, Eric? Yes, the gatekeeper. Hope you enjoyed your time in Dubai. We have roughly 30 million in cap space. We need Bradbury, save us a few mil, but we also have a ton of young guys that need playing time. That's why you have Bradbury Duck fight for it. Do you really need to trade up, invest assets to go get the guy, and just let's see what I really think there is room not to get him back to 2022 borderline all pro level James Bradbury. But I think there is a scenario where he has some positive regression this year. I think it's worth a risk to see if there's a chance at that. And I'm not saying completely ignore cornerback in the draft or the rest of free agency. But again, you still got Bradbury. You still got Slay. You got Rodgers now. Ringo, Ricks, McPherson, Maddox. You've got guys. And James Bradbury had his best year with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is back in the fold. So, there is opportunity there to not take a cornerback early. What is up, everybody? Cherry, you guys love it. Bradbury will be good because past performance is not good for predicting future results. That doesn't make sense. Am I on the main channel? I hope you are. No, you're on the side channel. Get to EOP, Eric. Edge of Philly Sports. That's where you want to be watching right now. Cherry World. My Cherry World. Salute, salute, salute. Hope you're well. Fred Burns. Need to go Joe Banner route, back-to-back corners. What was that? That was 2002, the last time that happened. Was it back-to-back? It was first and second round for Lido and Sheldon? Man. It was a long time ago. Long time ago. And I just don't know. Again, I'm not trying to say I think James Bradbury is going to be an elite cornerback. I'm not saying that James Bradbury has anything left in the tank. I'm just looking at the risk versus reward, the needs of this team. I mean, if you look at it, and let's get caught up on the comments in a second. I'm looking on a side screen at our depth charts as of now. Okay. And they have us listed as a 3-4 defense. They got Milton Williams and Jalen Carter as ends and Jordan Davis as a nose tackle. Okay. And then they got Huff and Dean, Devin White, and Nolan Smith all listed as linebackers. Okay. Behind those guys, they got Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. They're the only guys that have actually. So out of your front 7, you've got 9 guys that have played regular minutes. Milton Williams, Brandon Graham, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. You got Tupelodu as a backup, I guess. You got Burks and Bond, guys you've brought in who are nobodies. I firmly believe defensive line is a bigger need. And I'm not just saying this. I think the defensive line, end or tackle, is a much bigger position of need than cornerback at this point. To have somebody that can come in and make an instant, immediate impact. I'm telling you, if we wouldn't have traded Hassan Reddick, my thought process would be different. But you just lost a guy. You gave up in a trade a guy that had 27 sacks the last 2 years. Maybe Josh Huff or Bryce Huff does that. Maybe not Josh Huff. Maybe Bryce Huff gives you some of that. Maybe Nolan Smith gives you that. But then on the interior, All you got is Davis, who plays 45% of snaps, Jalen Carter, who tailed off a little bit last year. I do expect more from Milton Williams this year, but I expected more from Milton Williams last year. Defensive line is a bigger area of concern for me than cornerback at this point for 2024. Bradbury is not fighting for anything other than a lazy point. You may be right, and I know I felt this way at the end of the season. I'm just trying to really bring a different thought process to this. Dubai was amazing. Man, that I saw some of those pics on Facebook, Eric. Yeah. Living the dream, my man. I love it. Gotcha. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. After this year, Bradbury and Slay are done. After this year, and I don't see us re-sign them. I agree. And that is the argument to counter me saying don't take one of those first-round cornerbacks, is because this will be probably Slay's last year, highly likely that it's JB's last year. And then going into next year, then all you've got is Ringo, Ricks, McPherson, Maddox, Rodgers. But maybe this year, by not drafting our guy, maybe Ricks, Ringo, Rodgers, McPherson, maybe they step up in 2024 and show you don't need to continue investing. I don't know. That's just a theory I'm pushing. Brown and Lito was a great move. It was, and it brought us a lot of wins. Never brought us a Super Bowl, but it brought us a lot of wins. Just saying. We had a great tandem, and Sheldon Brown will live on in Eagles infamy because of the hit on Reggie Bush. I agree. I'm saying to learn behind as Sheldon and Lito learn behind Bobby and Troy. That's true, and that's fair. That's a very fair. We did it. There was a stretch and Fred Burns. I know this wasn't what you were trying to bring up, but there was a stretch in Eagles history where we had back-to-back elite cornerbacks. Bobby Taylor, one of the most underrated Eagles defensive players in Eagles history. Strong player. Troy Vincent, obviously, a great cornerback. Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown, held down the corners for years on end. That's 4 elite cornerbacks. And that's following up an era with Eric Allen on this team. So a Hall of Famer who's not in the Hall of Fame, which I will be bitter about for the rest of till it gets. I don't understand. Do I remember my Eagles history wrong? I grew up during the Eagles defense, the Buddy Ryan era. I was a young kid, but I grew up and I watched it. Was Eric Allen not a good cornerback and we just think he was? Because there's no reason why Eric Allen should not be in the Hall of Fame. Sorry to get off on a tangent. Anytime I saw a mock draft, I think it was Joe Castro, Philly, my guy, did one. And I was reading the mock draft, whoever it was, and there's a guy, Eric All or something like that. He drafted late in the 4th or 5th or 6th round. And I was just glancing through Twitter, and I'm like, somebody drafted Eric Allen? What kind of typo is that? And it just made me start thinking, this was like yesterday or 2 days ago, and how much I am disappointed that Eric Allen is still not in the Hall of Fame. The defense needs to improve, Eric. I feel like they will get a huge boost from the offense additions alone, more scheming, our wide receiver. And and there's the thing. The new coordinators, offensively and defensively, can help James Bradbury, can help the defense. You know, the fact that the offense was stagnant at times, the fact that the defense was on the field sometimes for 90-plus snaps. The Buffalo game, they played 96 snaps in the Buffalo game. They were never the same after that. Some of that was on the defense not getting off the field on third down. Some of it was offense. Some of it was Sean Desai being a terrible defensive coordinator. Some of it was sliding Matt Patricia in and giving mixed signals on what he was allowed to do and not do. There was a lot of things that went wrong last year. For as great as 2022 went, 2023 was the complete opposite, and we still made the playoffs. So in my mind, this defense is going to improve alone solely on the fact that we have competent coaches here right now. There's a lot of talent on this team. How many cornerbacks do we need? Exactly. We've got 7 on the roster right now, Marshawn. 7. That doesn't count the practice squad. We're talking just the roster. There are 7 cornerbacks on the roster right now. I'm not sure if trading up or even staying pat and taking one at 22 is a necessary thing. Eric, offense will unlock the brilliance that is Kenneth Gainwell. And think about it this way. 2022, we had an elite defense, right? What went hand in hand with that elite defense? A pretty damn elite offense that was blowing everybody. So it made the defense's job so much easier. All they had to do was pin their ears back, rush the quarterback, because we always had big leads. So the offense being better in 2024 will in turn make the defense better. Just like a good defense will make the offense better. But that's all hand in hand. I went to the top. What? I don't even know what that's going. Not to mention we have 80% of the Giants' offense in Barkley. We do. Things are going to be different. If they give Saquon Barkley the workhorse load that they paid him to be, that's going to help control the clock even more, time of possession even more. Less opportunities for the defense to struggle, less snaps on the field. Maybe you get a higher percentage of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter because there's less snaps for them to have to be on the field for. I think there's a lot that goes into this. We have Ringo, who has shown to be fair cornerback, and he was fair and a rookie. We still need a cornerback one, which we can get in this draft. We can at 22. We can at 25 or 27. I don't feel like we need to make a major trade up. And I'm not saying it'll be a miss or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't think it's necessary for Howie to invest pick 53 and a future pick to move up from 22 to 15. And that's what a lot of these scenarios are requiring. Taking one of those two picks in the 50s, a future pick, and moving up. I'd rather take 22, 53, and a future pick and go get Patrick Surtain, a proven commodity, which Denver did pick up his fifth-year option yesterday. Which makes it a little bit easier to trade him, I guess, maybe. They picked it up for us. I don't know. I don't know all the details on how that works, but it is what it is. Neighbors is the wide receiver. Dallas Turner, outside linebacker, Alabama best edge. I've mocked him to the Eagles a few times. Yeah. Kenny Gainwell. For anybody new, K1 is the Kenny Gainwell burner account. We know that. Junior Colson, outside linebacker, not bad. Yes, thank you. Thank you. My Gainwell takes will never not be funny. Yeah, well, yeah. Gainwell is not it. That's true. I still stand by. I saw my man, my old boss, Liam. He did a mock draft yesterday. And he had in the mock draft Kenny Gainwell included in a trade, the trade up in the third or fourth round, whatever it was. And I loved it. Because Kenny Gainwell is not necessary with Saquon Barkley here. Yeah, you still need more running backs. And hell, running back is a position of need in this draft. Because you got Saquon Barkley for 2 or 3 years and then nothing after that. You don't need Kenneth Gainwell, but you do need depth. There's right now only 2 actual running backs on the active roster in Gainwell and Saquon. So one of those picks in the later rounds will be a running back. Will it be a running back to replace Kenny Gainwell or to add to Gainwell? That's another subject. Anyone like Zach McPherson? Zach McPherson has potential. Zach McPherson got it. Zach McPherson was battling for the starting slot corner position last camp before he blew out. Was it his Achilles or his ACL? I forget. Either way, it's going to be tough for him to instantly get right back into it because those lower body injuries on a cornerback are tough. Eric Allen was one of my favorite Eagles, and then Brian Dawkins came in. Yeah. How he's not in the Hall of Fame? Shocking. Quality is greater than quantity. That is true. So 7 quantity cornerbacks is not as good as 4 quality quarterbacks. I get it. Eric Allen was a good quarterback that benefited from a legendary defensive front. Maybe that's not that's a fair argument, maybe. Maybe having Reggie White and Clyde Simmons and Byron Evans and Seth Joyner and Andre Waters and Willie Thomas and Isaiah Jenkins, Toast, all on the team. Mike Golick, Pitts, Brian Harmon, or not Brian Harmon, that's the copper. What was Harmon's first? Andy Harmon. He played with a lot of great guys. Eric, do they only let super but of those 7 cornerbacks, about 2 we won't re-sign and 1 that has shown talent. 2 have shown potential to be workable bench guys. Maybe. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm overthinking this quarterback thing. I'm just thinking of the fact that Howie has already invested in the position. Financially and draft pick wise. So maybe there's a scenario where we're overthinking it and he's not going to go heavy with that position early on. Phil, don't get around to connecting his. I got my mouse connected. It's right here. See, it's connected. Did I bump the computer? Maybe I bumped it. I haven't got the new table laid out just right yet. Maybe I bumped it a little bit on you. My apologies. See, there, I bumped the computer, but I'm just using the mouse. It's not as bad. I'm over Kenny Gainwell. We're all over Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell is a pretty average at best. Average at best running back. He does nothing exceptionally well. Although I will say, we do need return guys now with the new NFL rules. Can Kenny Gainwell return kicks? I don't know. I'm not sure if he ever did it in college. I'm not sure if he's capable of it. But honestly, with the new return rules, I'd feel more confident with them trading Kenny Gainwell and bringing back Boston Scott on another one-year deal. At least we know Boston Scott can return kicks. Isaiah Rodgers, Boston Scott, you have those two guys battling out. Maybe one of those defensive backs could challenge too. Yeah, and I see this, Big Al, and I love it because this has been my theory. If I was a GM, this is how I would be running my team forever. Trenches. You build so many of these teams that are in the top 5 of the NFL draft this year. The Bears, the Washington Commanders, the Patriots. Hell, I could throw the Arizona Cardinals in there. Cardinals are projected to take Marvin Harrison Jr., the best skill position player in the draft, 4th. Why? All these teams are going to get quarterbacks, or in Arizona's situation, a wide receiver, but they got nobody to protect them. And in Arizona, they can't give Kyler Murray any time to actually find Marvin Harrison. So you build from the trenches. You build your offensive line. Then you get your elite quarterback so you don't get them killed. Caleb Williams, Drake May, these guys are going to get destroyed week 1 of the NFL. Then you're going to see Bryce Young's types. You're going to see Anthony Richardson types going down with injuries. You're going to see guys losing all the confidence in the world in themselves, Zach Wilson. This is the problem with the NFL. That far too many quarterbacks get drafted way above their draft slot, what their real value is, because the team hasn't built the core and guts of the team. And that's why Howie Roseman is such a strong GM, because he knows what's important. He knows what's important is to build that offensive line, that defensive line, and then build in to out. You don't build the skill positions and then fill it in. No, you build the strong things first. I want to feel like our coaches are getting their guys in the draft. Yeah. Lost his safety. Yeah, but we replaced Kevin Byard with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, so we're good there. Marcus Mariota, who cares? Sewer Opeta, who cares? I will not countenance this slander against Kenny G. You go for it. Call David R. Cherry or go to cherrylawfirm.com and see if he'll represent you in your civil case against me on that. Just saying. So wide receiver is actually another area of concern. Like, I don't think people realize that there's a strong chance in the first or second round of a wide receiver taken by Howie Roseman. Think about it. What is our wide receiver depth chart? Obviously, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. Sure. We lost Lamade Zaccheaus, Quez Watkins. Fine. I don't care. You brought in Devontae Parker, who's borderline washed at this point. Paris Campbell's got a little bit of potential. He had one really good year. Knows Nick Sirianni's system and style. But outside of that, and Britton Covey. None of those 3 guys, Covey, Campbell, Parker, can slot in and start in the slot position. They could fill in. They could be depth pieces, but none of them are starting slot corners or wide receivers. None of them. So with pick 50 or pick 53, in my opinion, there's a very strong chance. I doubt wide receiver will go round 1 to the Eagles, but 50 or 53, an extremely strong chance that happens. Yeah, give David Cherry a call for sure. Yeah, we know who we lost, TMZ. You don't got to remind me on everybody. Gainwell sucks. I'll have this offensive line and still be average at best. If you ask me, any running back in this draft can give you his production. Yeah, and there's teams that would probably trade you a 5th or 6th round pick for Kenny Gainwell, or you can use him in a up and down move. Yeah, I know every MZ. We don't need your Buffalo Bills, knowledge, dropped on us. Whereas Kenny Gainwell has demonstrated more than adequate production as a runner and receiver, superior pass protection. We find Mr. Gainwell, and he has been defamed and is entitled. Stop. I got to get my stop shirt on here. A wide receiver 22 would be a wasted pick. Yeah, absolutely. But at 50-53, it wouldn't be. As long as it's not J.J. Arcega-Whiteside at 50 or 53, I think there's a legit possibility. Now, we don't have that pick in the 90s anymore because of good old Howie trading it, but it is what it is. You locked them up already. We are losing AJ in a year or two, so wide receiver would not be a wasted pick. At 22, I don't want to say it would be a wasted pick, but it might be not focusing on the most important immediate need, K1, if that makes sense. But at 50-53, absolutely. Or I've seen a lot of scenarios where they trade back to like 30 to 35 from 22. And absolutely, you could get a wide receiver then. And it wouldn't be wasted because, again, A.J. Brown, he's got 2 more years left on his deal. So you realistically got 1 more definite year from A.J. Brown. 1 more, at best. Because after next year, he's not going to want to play on the last year of his contract. So you're going to be in the Hassan Reddick situation with A.J. Brown next year, next offseason, where he wants an extension or he wants to trade to a team that will give him that extension. So that is why you really have to think wide receivers. I wrote down what I feel this team's needs are. And cornerback wasn't one of them. I wrote down wide receiver 3, tight end 2 or 3, edge rusher, linebacker. We need a safety. Right now, you got Sidney Brown coming off an ACL tear, which he might not be back till October or November. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, and you got one other guy on the depth chart right now. Hold on. Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown. Tristan McCullum. That's it. Tristan McCullum is a practice squatter. So you've really got 2 safeties right now on this team. 2. Because Sidney Brown, you don't know when he's going to be back. My guess, November 1st for Sidney Brown. So safety is a position to need. Right guard, if you're not confident in Tyler Steen. Or center, if you're not confident in Tyler Steen, is needed. Offensive tackle, you need offensive tackle depth. And the eventual heir apparent replacement to Lane Johnson. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions in need on top of cornerback, on top of running back depth. Everyone said when I put out these pieces that we need, it's because it's all depth. No, we need people in these positions that are going to step in and play. We need positions filled to play, not just depth positions. Running back to depth position that we need. There's a lot more holes on this Eagles team than people realize. For a team that's arguably the second or third best team in the NFC, 49ers are better, Lions, borderline, equal to the Eagles. We'll see if the Lions are for real or not in 2024. But that's about it. There's not many teams. So for a team that's in the upper echelon of not just the NFC, the NFL, PFF put out their power rankings yesterday. They had the Eagles number 5 in the NFL power rankings, which I'm okay with, but they had the Dallas Cowboys ahead of them, which I don't agree with. Dallas Cowboys have had a terrible offseason. They've got a quarterback on a lame duck contract, which, again, I brought it up yesterday. Maybe a shock of this weekend is Dak Prescott gets traded during the draft. Just thinking outside the box there. It would make a little bit of sense. Yes, we know that. Stop. Everyone's telling you to stop rattling off every single player's name. Drafting for need is how GMs lose their jobs. Yeah, I was talking to my man Jason Sullivan on Fairway to Heaven last night and again after the show, and he was hoping that the Lions GM draft. This is the first time the Lions in years could draft by need, not best available. I told him that doesn't always work out because then you reach, and he doesn't know some of the Eagles' reaches over the years. I mentioned Danny Watkins and Marcus Smith, and he's like, who? That's reaching for guys for positions in need. So positions in need are not necessary. You got to get good players. God, man, hearing the name J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has unlocked this. Dude, I remember the last article I wrote for AAT Birds was like the first article and the last article was that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was going to make the roster a couple years ago and not get cut like everybody hoped. And guess up, I was right on that. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was terrible. It's just straight terrible. Robbie's still on the team. No, he is not. Hennessy, good. I mean, he's a depth piece. Yeah, at 22, we need to select the number one on player available at his position, preferably on defense, but a stud O-line, I wouldn't be mad at. Yeah, honestly, if we stay at 22, Howie's got to look at his big board and say, who's the best player on this board? Edge rusher. There's going to be one of the top defensive tackles left. And if one of those elite offensive tackles drops, you do it. I'm not trading up in this draft if I'm Howie. Now, I know Howie likes to do it. Howie Roseman has traded up in the first round 3 of the last 4 years to get Devonta Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. So, I mean, he's got there's a strong likelihood that he does trade up. I don't like the idea of trading up. That's all I'm going to say. And you know what? If he gets one of those top elite corners Friday morning when we're on this show recapping round 1, I'm going to love it probably. The player. I'm not going to love the lack of draft picks we have left after the trade up, but that's it. You know, I just think Howie's in a really difficult spot, needing more than we realize. What's up, Almighty Finesse? How you doing? What's good? How you doing? Make sure you hit that like button and make sure any Eagles draft conversation, bring them into the conversation. Tons of good tackles in this draft. And you know what, honestly, with Jeff Stoutland, I do want one of the elite ones to eventually replace Lane Johnson. We do need that depth on the offensive line. The inevitable injuries, struggles maybe from Steen, who knows? But if our offensive line is set, Mailata, Dickerson, Steen, Cam Jurgens, and Lane Johnson to start the year, then you can maybe wait till the 3rd or 4th or 5th round, get maybe 2. You got 160 something, 2 in the 170s. Maybe draft 2 tackles in that stretch of picks, and then just let Jeff Stoutland sink his teeth in. Let Jeff Stoutland be like, all right, picks 160 to 172, whatever the 3 picks they have there are. Pick 2 guys you want in that range, and we'll give them to you. And let him get to work on those 2 guys. I saw a story. There's one guy that's a later pick that's already been mentored by Lane Johnson in college a little bit. Maybe you go get that guy and let Lane Johnson and Jeff Stoutland sink their teeth into getting the guy ready. So we'll see how that plays out. Dak need to go to the Broncos or Seahawks if he has a chance to get a team to the Super Bowl. Well, the Broncos have 7 really bad quarterbacks already on their team. But sure, let them go, the Broncos. Seahawks, what, is he going to supplant Geno Smith? They got Geno Smith under contract still. But it's just a weird random scenario I came up with yesterday, thinking of some of the quarterbacks that could get traded. I forget who I was thinking of. But then I'm like, no, hold on a second. Dak Prescott would be a serious consideration to get traded on draft day or draft weekend. Who do you think the Giants are taking? I don't know. I did for the first time ever, Almighty. Are you really Almighty? Are you the Almighty Bobby Lashley? I don't know. So I did a full first round mock draft of all 32 teams, and some of them I went by need. Some of them I went with who I think best fits their team. Some I just went best available because I don't know every team's needs detailed. And I drafted you guys Marvin Harrison Jr. with your first pick, the Giants. And the reason why is because in my theory, even though everyone thinks he should go to the Cardinals at 4, the Cardinals need to protect Kyler Murray. So I gave them the top offensive lineman, and then Marvin Harrison there, give Daniel Jones an actual legit wide receiver. He'll still stink as a quarterback, but now Daniel Jones won't have any excuses to stink. That's just my opinion. But probably Marvin Harrison goes at 4 to the Cardinals, and then the Giants should pick the best offensive lineman. Honestly. Keep Daniel Jones upright. Whoever's going to be the running back, give them holes. Howie passed on Jefferson and didn't lose his job. He's not losing his job for anything. Oh, he's never losing his job. He's got a lifetime contract with the Eagles. They will fly off board, K1. I am sure if he commit a serious crime like murder, I don't know. Howie Roseman could go on a ripper crime spree and might still keep his job. I don't know. Well, Howie is a made man. He's a made man. So Howie would be like one of those mobsters in prison, but doesn't have like has like a look. I remember watching a show about what Lucky Luciano's cell looked like in prison, and he had a couch, he had like a record player, he had a little bar set up in his cell. That would be Howie. Howie'd have like 10 laptops and phones set up, and he'd still run the Eagles organization masterfully from prison. If anything, better because he'll have more free time on his hands. Two of the three trade up worked out well for Howie. I'm still willing to say all of them did. I'm not ready to move on from Jordan Davis yet. I know the theory on Jordan Davis isn't that he's not working out. It's that Kyle Hamilton, who should have been the pick, is working out so well. But I'm still holding out hope and faith that Jordan Davis is a strong NFL player. Teflon Don, yeah, absolutely agree. Howie is a proven GM and would be picked up from another team. But absolutely, I don't think anybody, Duck, would disagree with you on that. Not at all. Only thing sticking on Howie is taxation. Man. Howie settles all family business this weekend. Yeah. Next week on Monday, we can start talking about what this roster actually looks like. Instead of mock draft 27.4, we'll be doing 53-man roster prediction 75.2. You think he's going down like the punk Capone? He's too smart to go down on tax evasion. Just like the salary cap doesn't exist, taxes don't exist. Yeah, I don't know. I think he would be too smart for that. New Jersey Giants need to trade back and get more picks. They need so much on that O-line before investing in another. Absolutely agree with you. The Giants are a team that if a team really wants the fourth quarterback, J.J. McCarthy or whoever, and the Chargers aren't really going to trade Herbert to the Vikings, the Giants are a team that other teams should be targeting to trade up to get McCarthy at 5. Are they 5 or 6, whatever they're at there in the draft? Howie will hire, yeah, David Archeri will get him off the hook. You, sir, are always on point. K1 never misses a beat. When K1's not in the comments of the show is so much more boring. Same thing with Marshawn. No offense to Duck, but Marshawn and K1 keep me on their toes with their sarcasm. I never know whether the next thing I click is sarcasm or serious. Howie signed with the mob like Tom Hanks. Yeah. I can make it more relevant. We've been binge watching Yellowstone. Howie's got the E, branded on his shoulder, just like the Y. Once he's in, you can't get it out. Capone's prison cell was like a Lux hotel. Probably. Mobsters get it all. Or at least the high-end mobsters get taken care of very well, or at least used to. Hope and faith are not a strategy. No, they're not. Howie is a fraud and will try this. I love Maxey, man. Oh, man. I've never met Matty B in person. Now we're part of the EOP family. But I don't know enough about Matty to know if he's sarcastic here and regularly or if he really believes this nonsense. I hope it's sarcasm. I truly do. Spencer Rattler is him. Nope. That's because I am comedy sniper, not like these shotgunners. Gotcha. You just like to drop a little bit when you can. There was a kid like you in high school, John Lim, rest in peace. He was one of my friends in high school, and we always thought for the first 2.5 years of high school that he didn't have a sense of humor. And then somewhere in junior year, he dropped a joke out of nowhere. I'm like, hold on, where'd that come from? And then didn't say another joke till mid-senior year. He had 3 jokes in 4 years of high school, but they were all like home runs, grand slams, walk-off home runs. Henry Hill is a rat. Henry Hill is a rat. Matty B belongs to the days of Joe Banner, the gold standard Joe Banner. Mitchie Poo, 13 likes is not enough. If you are watching this show, wherever you're watching, but importantly on YouTube, hit that like button. We only got 3 on Facebook. We've been getting double-digit likes on Facebook this week. Not yet today. So hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, follow button. Please, 13 likes is not good enough. If you do not hit the like button on this video, that means you think Tobias Harris should be re-signed to a full max contract. So you better hit the like button, and you better hit the subscribe button, or Daryl Morey is going to give Tobias Harris another max contract. Just saying. It's all on your fault if you don't hit that like button right now. That's just what it is. And since we're saying likes and shares and subscribes and follows, it's a perfect opportunity to do a quick reset here and bring up phillysportstrips.com. Check them out, phillysportstrips.com. Travel with your favorite team. Travel with the best. Travel with Philly Sports Trips. They feature premium travel packages, tailgate experiences for the best fans ever, us Philadelphia sports fans. Self-travel packages, full travel packages, flights, bus trips, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Union, hell, everything. Day trips, phillysportstrips.com. Let them know EOP sent you. And, of course, check them out if you want to go to Brazil for week 1 against the Green Bay Packers, Eagles, Packers, Brazil. They got a great package. I saw some pictures online of them scouting hotels and restaurants and different activities to do on that trip. So make sure you check them out, phillysportstrips.com. Let them know that Edge of Philly Sports sent you. Make sure, if you're watching, you're hitting the like, the share, the subscribe, follow. We are live Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. for 90 minutes every single day. And make sure you're turning the notifications on. 31 shows live this week on Edge of Philly Sports. So make sure you're turning those notifications on so you don't miss all. I mean, this week is going to be dominated by draft content with a lot of fantastic people. Live draft party going on Thursday night here with a fantastic panel. So make sure you're logged in here to EOP, set up and ready to go. Hit that like button, guys. I appreciate that. Sixers are cursed. We could bring in prime MJ and he would still lose to the Knicks. Well, I don't know about that. That might be pushing it, but pretty good. We could bring in Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan, and yeah, we would lose. I don't want to talk Sixers today. I really don't. I really don't want to talk them. But I do want to give a few seconds of Sixers talk. Tyrese Maxey won the award, Most Improved Player in the league, and it's a well-deserved honor. So I want to give a little tip of the cap to Tyrese Maxey getting the recognition he deserved. Next step is getting to that MVP conversation. Not this year, not next year, in the future. Now, I will also give out one other shout-out to Kyle Neubeck for calling out the king, Howard Eskin, for being a tool bag. He made some stupid comments on the dial, WIP, the other day about how Joel Embiid is washed. It's Maxey's team. He's the real superstar, blah, blah. And Neubeck, called him out. And then Eskin went all troll mode on him. And Eskin went and called him a nobody. Now, Neubeck's one of the best beat reporters that cover the Sixers. One of the most honest guys out there. Straight shooter, interactive with the fans, interactive with other content creators. And he's going to go out there and do that. So I just wanted to call out Eskin for being a D-bag, as always. Shout out to Neubeck for holding his ground. And you should go check out, he has this little short on his page, him calling out Eskin for it. Okay? And a tip of the cap to Tyrese Maxey. That's all the Sixers talk I want to bring up to the table today. I don't even want to talk about Game 3 right now. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about Game 3. Maybe. Bring back Tobias. Yeah. 8-10. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Oh, it's not sarcasm. Talk to me about the draft history. Here it is in a glance. Only 3 first-round picks still on the roster. Howie Roseman's a much better drafter than people give him credit for. I bet you could find 1,000 GMs that have had worse success than Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman, if he got fired today before the ink was dry on the firing pink slip, would already have 3 contracts in hand from other teams. And if he waited 5 minutes, would have 20 teams giving him a contract. Howie Roseman is one of the, and you're talking to, Matty B, a guy that used to criticize Howie Roseman, that was part of the Fire Howie Roseman hashtag troop like 3-4 years ago. But I've evolved my opinion, just like Howie Roseman has evolved into a great, if you would have asked this conversation 4 years ago, I'd be on board with you. But Howie Roseman has learned and grown into a damn good GM, maybe one of the 2 or 3 best in all of football. Less than 35% of picks a hit since 2016. And I bet you that's pretty average. Matty been hurt for too long. First round picks over Super Bowl. Yeah. Joel wins most improved player, most injured. I see what you're doing there. So you got me on that one. Matty B is the Joey Zaza of trending in the AM. Howard Eskin sleeps. Howard Eskin should be just sleeping, period. I mean, the dude. I for the old timers that watch this show, I grew up idolizing Howard Eskin. I wanted to be nothing but Howard Eskin and Mike Missinelli and some of these other legends. Isn't Jody Mack now? No, not Jody Mack. Somebody announced their retirement from WIP. Was it Jody Mack now? Anyway, legends. Growing up in the 80s, early 90s, listen to WIP when they're still in the AM. I wanted nothing more than to be like that. But he's become a cartoon character. The king forever. Howard Eskin is no king. He's the king of his own brain, and that's it. I don't think we cursed. I just think Adam Silver has an obsession with screwing us every chance he gets. Yeah, I mean, like, they put out their little report about how, the refs missed calls and stuff. But what good does that even do, putting that report out? We all know they missed the calls. That's not why they lost. They lost because they played terribly. But the refs should be fined, suspended. But now they'll probably get a raise, even though they missed all those calls and blatantly admit it to missing all the calls. You missed a tinfoil Phil yesterday on this very topic. I don't think I went too conspiracy theory on it. I am not a flip flopper. No, it's not that I have no stones. See, there's a difference. A flip flopper is a person that is willing to admit their opinion was wrong and allow their opinion to evolve over time. That's what it is. Flip-flopping opinions day to day. If I say today I disagree with you, but then tomorrow say I agree with you, that's flip-flopping. But over time, people are allowed to evolve. People are allowed to change. It's what makes this so great. You should allow yourself to evolve. Oh, this is why he's so grumpy this morning, Big Al. It's Matty B's birthday. He's a little disappointed that he's got to finally, start collecting, his Medicare and, Social Security now. It's depressing him, that he's eligible for Social Security now. So, that's why he's so grouchy this morning. That makes so much more sense. It wasn't too much of a. It wasn't, Eric. I think he's exaggerating just a little bit on that right there. But yes, it's Matty B's birthday today. Happy birthday to the big baby of the group. You adopt when you are shown to be wrong. Flip-flopping is different because they don't need new info to change their minds. Just someone disagree with them. Exactly. I don't flip-flop every day. What I do is I let my opinions evolve. That's actually a smart sports fan. Evolving opinions. It really is. That's what you want. You want to be able to evolve your opinion one way or another. That is important to be able to do. Matty B turned 72 today. Probably. I mean, we should all send him a box of Depends or something like that. Adult diapers. Oops, I crapped my pants because he's basically right on par with that. Yeah, I made a poop joke. I'm really struggling there with that joke there. But anyway, let's get back on topic with the draft, with these positions in need, what they should do with this hit rate. I still love this hit rate conversation. Dinosaurs never evolved; they became extinct. I love it. That's actually a great analogy to the flip flopping conversation. It really actually is very, very relevant. Not relevant because they became extinct like 2 billion years ago. Ballpark it by 1 billion or 2. We should respect we should. It is very important to respect your elderly people. Help them across the street. Maybe push their shopping cart back to the cart return for them. Maybe carry their groceries out to the car for them. Walk their pizza out to the car for them. Check in on them. Make sure that they've got their air conditioner turned on. Once it gets hot this weekend. Well, he comes off like the old man with the hose telling kids, yeah. Or he probably sits on his front lawn with a speed gun wondering how fast every car is going down the street. Slow down, you're going too fast. That's probably what he's doing. Matty B had front row seats to David and Goliath fight. He was at the Coliseum. He was at the Coliseum for that really big gladiator fight in 27 BC. He was there for that. Nope, they got wiped out by a meteor. I don't know when you only have 5 years to evolve. I don't think it will work out for you. It might have been more than 5 years. Anyway, guys, let's get off the evolution topic, okay? Let's get back on the NFL draft. I'd rather talk the Phillies and the terrible Sixers than the NFL draft. Or than evolution. Just saying. I would. This conversation is going off. Normally we go off the hooks with the final 10, 15 minutes of the show. We still got 25 minutes. And I got to somehow bring it all back together here. I do. And I'm not sure how to do it. You know, maybe I'll bounce the bobbleheads a little bit. See if that helps. Does that get us back on track? What does the fanatic think? I don't know. I don't know. But you guys have completely taken me off the rails here. But back on the draft. Back on this hit rate piece here. By Hembo that was shared out by Adam Schefter. Does the hit rate success, how should I say this the right way? Is it a valid thing to think about when you're doing your draft process? That certain positions hit better than others? Or is it Hembo just putting together random stats and it might not actually mean as much as it does? Like, I'm actually kind of surprised that quarterback had a 46% hit rate because so many bad quarterbacks get drafted. But I guess once you draft them, you try to give them as much time. I mean, that quarterback hit rate, 46% success, counts Daniel Jones as being successful because he got that second contract. So maybe in a theory where me trying to say that cornerback only has a 38% chance of hitting in the first round, maybe isn't necessary to be worried about it. We're still on Matty B. Calling David Archer. Yeah. Just do a hard reset and see. I've already done a few resets. We do the resets when we read the ad reads. I got one more ad read for the end. I got to pull it off my phone because, Big Al forgot to send me the link. But, we'll get that up in a little bit. Quarterback hit rate in the first round is stupidly low. Quarterbacks in general might have that hit rate. Yeah, I'm actually surprised it's not lower, but I'm actually then on the flip side, based off of why I don't think it's lower, why isn't it higher? Because so many quarterbacks get drafted early in the draft. They get that second contract like Daniel Jones, despite not earning it. So, I mean, you think about it, that hit rate on quarterbacks. You got Caleb Williams, May, McDaniels, McCarthy. All those guys are going to go in the top 12. You might get 5. You might get 6 first-round quarterbacks this year. That means 2 of them. The odds are 3 of them will get a second contract. Not 3 of them will be good. Not 2 of them will be great. But at least 3 of them will get a second contract because teams invested in them. The Bears can't. If the Bears draft, and they will draft, Caleb Williams 1 overall, they have to give him 6 years at least. They can't move on quickly just like they did from Justin Fields again. They got to give him the time of day, which is a shame because I don't think he deserves the time of day. Just saying. Yeah, I wish. I've missed seeing the Eric R. typed in $500 super chat. I do. GM still go for those first round quarterbacks. And I think it's such a big flaw. And I've talked about it before, Duck, and I will continue to talk about it for years. Like you said, trenches. Build from within. So many of these teams don't even have a set quarterback or set coach, a set offensive line. Their front offices are always in upheaval. The quarterback drafting in the top 3, it doesn't work because these teams like Caleb Williams will be the starter day 1 in Chicago. Whoever Washington takes, May, Daniels, whatever, will be the starter week 1. Whoever New England takes will be the starter week 1. And odds are, because they're getting put in there right away on bad teams. Mind you, when you're drafting in the top 5, you're a bad football team. There's no room. There's no way around it. You're a bad football team. And these quarterbacks, if they are not mentally strong, will fail because they're taking 1 overall. That's not what you want, but that's what you get. Teams in the top 5 have to draft quarterback out of desperation, but they don't. They think they do, but they don't. You can get just as much out of drafting a quarterback in the second round, letting them sit for a year to learn, going out and getting a Marcus Mariota or say a Tyrod Taylor or something like that. You can go get one of those guys, draft a quarterback in the second round, get yourself an elite offensive lineman to protect your quarterbacks, let your quarterback sit for a year, hell, 10 weeks. Look at what the Eagles did with Don McNabb. They drafted him early, but they brought in Doug Peterson. And what did Doug Peterson start? 9 games that year in Don McNabb's rookie year? They let him sit, let him develop, let him learn. That is how you build a quarterback. That is how you develop a quarterback. But they draft these guys out of desperation and then force feed them right to the NFL. And these guys, and I feel bad for some. I saw a short little piece on Jamarcus Russell the other day. You know, one of the biggest quarterback busts of all time. Played 3 years in the NFL. I think I saw he started only 31 games in his career. He's coaching high school football, living out of the limelight now. He shouldn't have been drafted number 1 overall. Not even remotely close. And if he was, he should have sat for 3 years and then been given a chance. Why do you think the Packers have only had 3, outside of injured games where players missed with injuries, they've only had to draft 3 franchise quarterbacks in the last 30, 40 years? When was Brett Favre drafted? And at the end of Brett Favre's career, they draft Aaron Rodgers, let Aaron Rodgers sit for 4 years, moved on from Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers slid right into being one of the best quarterbacks in football. He was taking, 20-something in the first round? And then, towards the end of Aaron Rodgers' Packers career, they draft Jordan Love. He sits for 2. They move on from Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not saying Jordan Love is going to be anywhere near the Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre level, but he looks competent in his first year as a starter. Why? Because he had time to sit, rest, learn, figure it out, learn how to be a professional, let the speed of the game catch up. That is the process that a quarterback should go to. Eagles should trade up for J.J. McCarthy. No. Pink fingers, nail boy bear. Every move. Like, I don't care about the pink nails. I don't. That doesn't bother me. His personality bothers me in a sense that I don't think he's very mature. Some of the words he's said make me concerned about him. But nothing. What did I say? I say thyroid? Isn't it thyroid? Look, whatever. I get in the heat of the moment. Words just come out of my mouth. Late first-round quarterbacks seem to work out better than the top 15 over the last 23 years. Probably. If I have time at work today, if it's not a busy day, I hope I have time at work. I hope I don't have time at work because then it means Fox's Pizza is busy today. Come check me out. Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square, foxespizza.com. Come see me. Kennett Square, 345 Scarlet Road. I'll have a good slice of pizza with you. But if it's slow, I'm going to go over all the quarterbacks in the success versus top 15 versus last 15 in the first round and see what had a better success rate. I butchered it. I'm sorry. Good morning, Chuck. How you doing this morning? Welcome to the show. Welcome, one and all. Yes. Look, I've made some mistakes in my life. And I wouldn't expect anything less than you guys to call me out on it. Guys, I love you. Nasty work. Yeah. Stop. I just can't win with you guys. Between Star Favre, Green Bay had 15 years of mediocrity. Yeah, they did. Who cares about pink nails? He can wear a dress. Yeah, exactly. I could care less. I just wanted to win football games. But the thing is, his maturity level from his words still isn't up to par. But because he's going 1 overall, he's not going to have time to learn, to mature, to be an adult. When you go play an NFL, when you're the cornerstone franchise of a team, you've got to be mature to handle that. And I'm not sure he's ready for that, which gives him the opportunity to fail. Trending the AM where your opinion matters. No. That is not what. Don't you be putting words in my mouth. I'm just telling you your opinion. I disagree with your opinion, Matty B. There's a difference between telling you you're wrong and disagreeing. And I'm telling you, you're wrong. Everyone's opinion matters except for Matty B. And there's one or two others that don't matter either. But we won't get into them. Dennis Rodman was a little odd, but he not a criminal playing well. How are we getting on Dennis Rodman? I hope we draft Cooper. It's Koopa DeJean, maybe. Matty B has gone all tinfoil. Exactly. We got somebody new. Jason Keller. I thought that said Jason Kelsey for a second. Quick glance. Considering the current secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, if Cooper DeJean out of Iowa falls to 22, will Eagles select him considering the issues with the secondary outside? So you're saying a CJGJ is the only competent guy in our secondary. Look, Jason, Cooper will fall to 20. Cooper's not going before 22. There's a scenario where the Eagles could trade back maybe 3 or 4 picks, in my opinion, and still get Koopa. I'm okay with that. My question is he a safety or is he a cornerback? Some sites list him as a safety, some cornerback. That tells me he's a man without a position. Some think he's better suited to play one or the other. That tells me there's question marks. So I don't know. First, everybody was all over Kool-Aid, then Koopa. Now everybody wants Arnold. Like, everybody keeps changing their mind on who they want. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about it today, that I don't think cornerback is as big of a need as others do, that we have to trade up for one. And the hit rate, we've been talking about the hit rate. Hembo from ESPN did out a thing. In a 20-year span, the percentage of first-round picks that got a second contract, position by position. And first-round hit rate on cornerbacks is extremely low. Some of the lowest. So to me, it concerns me a little bit. A little bit. But if we come live Friday morning, Jason, and the first thing I say, let's welcome to the Philadelphia Eagles with pick 22, Koopa DeJean, I'm not going to be upset. I just don't know if it's the best move for the team right now. Both the Sixers and the first round of the NFL draft are at the same time. What are you watching? This is when multi-screens come into play, because I'm going to be watching both. I will have the Sixers game up on the big TV and either on the small TV, my laptop, or my phone. I will have the draft going as well. Well, maybe I'll have to bring a laptop up for that, because I got to be able to tweet both things going out at the same time. We'll see. We'll see. I might have to sit down here. I have an extra TV to set up. Maybe I'll have the TV set up down here for the draft. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. And we can watch the game, the draft, everything all at once. Eagles D is so terrible. No less than 3 or 4 starters need it. Howie's draft history doesn't bode well for that. Not even close. Chuck, been saying it. Mock draft responsibly. And for those that mock draft irresponsibly, call 1-800-MOCK-DRAFT to get some help from a psychiatrist to learn how to mock draft responsibly. We might want 4 defensive players with our first 4 picks, but odds are it's going to be 3 out of 4 will be offense. Howie does not draft defense early unless it's defensive line. That's why if you want defense, look at Latu. Look at Verse. Look at the defensive ends edges in this draft. There's a higher likelihood that first pick at 22 or trade it back is on the defensive line than cornerback, in my humble opinion. Just know that there isn't a super chat option here. We'll have to look at that. I did not know that. What move would make you upset? What draft move would make me upset? That's a tough one. Trading up to draft that tight end, or even if he fell, Bowers or whatever his name is. I don't want a first-round tight end. First-round running back would make me upset. My quarterback would obviously make me upset. Outside out of the realistic options on the table, there's a slight 2 or 3% chance that tight end drops and the Eagles move up from him. That would make me upset. Moving up for a skilled position player would upset me. Moving up for somebody in the trenches would. Moving up for a skilled position would upset me. If that on the fly thinking about that, that would upset me. And I think that's a good poll question. We'll put that out on Twitter later after this show. I like both Quentin Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They both are great cornerbacks. You're going to have to trade up for Mitchell probably, though, Mister. And I don't know if I'm ready to do that. I don't know if cornerback is worth trading up for when there's going to be a lot of high-quality defensive players dropping to 22. It's also based on the changes in the rules to make the NFL more exciting, making defensive backs less and less important unless they are exceptional. It's a great point. It's a great point from you, Duck. You know, the age of the cornerbacks, you can't tackle. You can't hit. You can only tackle in like a 2-inch window on a person's body. So you need the elite of that's an argument to trade up and get Arnold. If you got to trade up all the way to 10 because you need an elite. This is an argument to be made to trade the farm to go get Patrick Surtain because you could go get an elite lockdown corner that could be out on an island. That's what this comment does. Pause, Chuck. Yeah. If we draft a quarterback or running back in the first round, would piss me off. Yeah, I mean, that's not there. There's no scenario where that happens, Duck. So I can't even say it would piss me off because it's not going to happen. But a tight end or a wide receiver would be a realistic, knowing Howie Roseman MO kind of thing. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, it's like the fifth time his name's popped up on this show. There are plenty of good tight ends later in the draft. There's some solid tight ends later in the draft for sure. Hence why trading up or getting him would be a mistake. Drafting a second or third round talent in the first round, yeah, the reach would upset me as well. A guy that's got a Jalen Reagor, a guy with a second round, third round grade coming to the Eagles in the first round, that would upset me. The only reason that Bowers would drop that far is if an undisclosed injury is revealed or he gets caught on draft night, you know, with a gas mask on. Shoot. I forget his name. Whatever that dude's name was, that offensive lineman. He was one of the best in the league. How about a trade up for Brock Bowers? That would upset me. It would upset me. No running backs in this class will have a prospect of getting drafted. No, I agree. Well, I mean, the Cowboys might take them in the first. Yeah, the Cowboys. Who knows what the Cowboys are going to do? Nobody knows what the Cowboys have done all offseason. We can get McCaffrey in 3 to 4 round, and yeah, not really worried about that. Why go up? Nobody's going up for a running back, quarterback, tight end. None of that. All right, we're coming up close to the end of this show. So real quick, I'm gonna switch my share screen here for a second. Share screen. There we go. So let me pull out my cell phone here for the ad read here that Mr. Big Al sent me this morning. And go. Come on out to Streetlight Kitchen Bar and Grill on May 11th, 2:30. All day, Phillies, Edge of Philly Sports Day. Streetlight Kitchen Bar, Drexel Hill, at the Drexel Brook Event Center. I've been to many weddings at the Drexel Brook, many events at the Drexel Brook. Check them out. 2:30. They're going to be doing pregame live there, postgame live there, watching the Phillies game with all the fans. So make sure you go check them out. Great food, drink specials, chance to win free Phillies tickets. Oh, damn. Maybe because I work for EOP, I can't win them, but maybe I'll go check them out. Guys, great food, drink specials, chance to win free Phillies tickets. Go check them out. May 11th at the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, 5400 Fern Boulevard, Drexel Hill, at the Drexel Brook Event Center. Hey, maybe if you guys are nice, I'll even go, and you can come hang out and watch the Phillies game with me. Just so you know, Laramie Turnsel, that was the mask guy. That's right. And he dropped massively. And he's turned into probably one of the best linemen in all of football. And a lot of teams passed on him only because of the gas mask. And that's it. Guys, so much going on today, guys. Again, it's funny. Last night, Fairway to Heaven, go check out the replay on the YouTube page of Fairway to Heaven. Talked a lot of Scotty Scheffler and how boring golf has become. A, because of LIV. B, because of the changes. C, just because the PGA Tour is run by a bunch of second-grade idiots. You know, we talked a lot about that last night. Go check out the replay of that. But at the end of the show, I said to Jason, I'm like, we just talked for 45 minutes and we didn't solve anything. And I kind of feel like we've talked now for almost 90 minutes and we haven't come to any conclusion on what the best course of action is. We didn't get to doing any mock drafts either. So tomorrow, we're going to do some mock drafts tomorrow. We're going to continue all these conversations that we've been having today. Maybe some rankings, maybe some poll questions. We'll see what else can come up. But we'll be back tomorrow for more of this draft talk. I hope Bowers' bong mask video drops him and we nab him at 20. Now, I don't want a first round tight end. I don't want a first round tight end. What's your skills on the deep fakes? 0, unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway, make sure you're tuned in. EOP. Let's bring up the calendar. What's on the agenda today? 12 o'clock on the Shane page, Shane Half and Page. Great show. Check them out at 12 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Philly Press Box Radio. I love Chet and the boys. It's honestly one of my favorite shows. No offense to anybody else on this channel. One of my favorite shows. They get some great guests on there. Edge of Philly Sports Live, 8:30. And, of course, Phillies postgame. Let's see if they can get back on the winning ways tonight. Lots of great shows tomorrow. Obviously, us training the AM shows and the live draft party show tomorrow, along with post-game shows. Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. Lots of great shows. So make sure you're following Edge of Philly Sports, hitting the subscribe button, the follow button, hitting the like button, the share button. Turn those notifications on because you don't want to miss anything. How come Brock Bowers didn't run the 40 at the combine? I don't know. Did he? Did he not? I don't know. Dude, I feel so out of the loop with so much. Not doing shows for 2 weeks, so much information has escaped my brain now. Who do you say has the better improved season, Eagles offense or defense this year? At this very moment, it's too soon to tell because the draft hasn't happened already. But at this very moment, it's tough because I was going to say the offense because they added Saquon Barkley, but the Kellen Moore versus Vic Fangio conversation can get added into it. I don't know. I would say the offense is better improved now. Nah, but then they lost Jason Kelce. Dude, Eric, that's a tough question. That's a very tough question. I'm going to have to lean slightly offensively speaking, but the defense is better, I guess, by default because Devin White, washed or not, makes the linebackers better. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson makes us better. Bryce Huff maybe, hopefully, cancels out Hassan Reddick's loss, I guess. So maybe the defense, that's a great question. And offense or defense? Or defense? Who is better now? Might have to put that out there on social media after this show when I get to work. Not controllable or anything less than best would drop. Yeah, okay. Defense because you couldn't get worse. That's true. It's a fair way to say. How come Cody finished his story? Boring. Duck, I think it was a mistake. He's going to fall to 22 because of it. I don't want no tight end at 22, guys. I don't. Don't want any tight end at 22. All right, so let's wrap this up. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, follow button, guys. EOP Sports. This is Trending the AM live every Monday through Friday for 90 minutes every day to show the people, guys, we're on a new channel. I need the Core 12 to step up their game. All right, I need you telling everybody. But there's a lot of guys that still haven't found it. A lot of the Core 12 have not found the new home. So make sure you go out there and tell everybody. Trending in the AM, the #1 morning show in the city. The first daily sports YouTube show in Philly. And the only one where your opinions, unless you're Matty B, actually matters. That's right. It's always Go Birds, right? At the end of the show. Always. Cody, yeah. Still laughing. I'm writing it down. Thyroid Taylor. My bad. Matthew doesn't like the show. I love Matt. I do. I really do. Guys, we're going to wrap it up. Trending the AM right there, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, go Birds.